delivered by Ms. Devika Skill, Master Trainer, Motivational Speaker, Relationship Management Mentor from UK. Today, in this digital world, as an employee, we are facing new challenges in the workplace. We have to adapt the new form of technology, and many of us belongs to the generation X and millennials and could not able to deal and mingle and win with that generation. Maybe we are unable to update technically, but it is also important for us to display specific important leadership skills. These skills help us to create an encouraging and productive work environment. So, if these skills are lacking, it leads to frustration, crippled, or biased decision making, dissatisfaction, and communication gaps. So today, our resource person, Captain Dr. U. Tanis, Professor of English, Ramakrishna Mission, Vivekananda College, Chennai, is going to deliberate on the topic Suffusing Society, that is leadership skills at workplace. He is going to guide us on how we can overcome the different leadership failures and can become an effective leader so that we can inspire our team and build confidence in our team, which results to success and productivity at our workplace. But before going to that, let me take a privilege to introduce our resource person. Is my screen visible, sir?
Yes, ma'am, it's visible, ma'am.
Yes, madam.
Okay. Captain Dr. Yu Tanis, sir, currently working as a professor and also an associate NGC officer in Aicte and Vivekananda College, Chennai. He has 19 years of rich teaching and research and administrative experience and held several positions like external examiner, associate professor, NCC officer, and so on. He is an internationally qualified TOEFL and TESOL trainer, Relo scholar, co-editor, motivational speaker, and an exemplary soft skills trainer. He delivered many lectures as a chief guest, keynote speaker, guest lecture, chairperson on different topics like the importance of fluency, why study literature, English language teaching, rewriting the paradigms of gender and sexuality, etiquettes for interview, English language learning, personality development, English language teaching, soft skills, language and linguistics, and many more. He's associated with many professional bodies such as LTI, AESI, and so on, and also co-editor in a peer-reviewed international research journal from Western Ghats called Pacifica Online Research Journal. He is a member of doctoral committee for University of Madras, MGR University, and Wells University. He is an external examiner for PhD Viva Voce. Currently, he is guiding 2 PhD scholars. He has organized and conducted 15 workshops on the topics personality development, interview skills, critical thinking, creative writing, and language skills. He plays a unique and remarkable role in inculcating self-confidence, teamwork, winning attitude, positive thoughts, and smart work nature in students through his unique training methods. He published 4 short stories: The Night in Triveni, Green Hopes in Triveni, Second Love, and Green Hopes. He has designed personality enrichment programs for professional students. He believes in interactive teaching and focuses more on the speaking skills of learners. He presented and published more than 25 of his research papers in reputed international and national journals. He completed 16 online courses such as NPTEL, Relo, University of Pittsburgh, from University of Birmingham, British Council, Johns Hopkins University, University of Western Australia, University of Auckland, and so on. He generally integrates Bloom's taxonomy in his teaching methodology. He demonstrates keen interest to learn from his seniors and displays initiative to shoulder new responsibilities in the college. He rises to the ocean as well as stoops to the level of students. He received many awards for his exceptional efforts in the field of education, such as Excellence in Academic Performance, Best Soft Skill Trainer, Best Teacher Award, Best Presenter Award, and many more. So welcome, sir. We are Felicitations to resume your scholarly words. I handed over the session to you. Please, sir.
Thank you very much, madam. Like your words have really motivated me. So good afternoon, everybody. At the outset, I extend my sincere thanks to the organizers of this AICTE-sponsored 3-week short-term program on harmony in the workplace, effective interpersonal and communication skills. I thank Dr. Vanishri ma'am for giving me the same platform where eminent personalities have already impressed the elite audience with their scholarly presentation. I hope I live up to your high standards and expectations. I welcome you all to this session on fusing suzerainty. The organizers deserve a special praise, special word of appreciation and praise for coming out with catchy and alliterative topics for every session. And so for this session, they have given us the topic, suffusing suzerainty. So let us start with the meaning of the two terms given in the topic. The first term is suffuse. Okay, suffuse. That's how it's supposed to be pronounced. Suffuse. Suffuse means permeate. Permeate means spreading gradually from one place to another place. And then the second term is suzerainty. Suzerainty. Suzerainty means having some control over others. So now when you put these two words together, it becomes suffusing suzerainty, which means casting influence over others around us slowly. So it means, like spreading one's influence around people, okay, gradually. So in short, it refers to leadership skills, because leaders are those who cast their influence on others gradually. So before I start presenting my screen to you, let me pose one simple question to you. When you listen to this word leader, whose name or whose picture comes to your mind? I'll be very happy if you can share that answer in the chat box. I repeat my question. When you listen to this word leader, whose name or whose image comes to your mind immediately? So kindly post the names in the chat box. Very good. I'm already getting names. Okay, it starts with Mahatma Gandhi, Dr. Ambedkar, Napoleon. Very good. Again, APJ Abdul Kalam. Okay, Gayatri ma'am tells about Abdul Kalam. Ramesh Shiva sir, you have given us Kamarajar. Yeah, very good, madam. Jyoti ma'am, Mother Teresa. Sanjay Kumar sir, Subhash Chandra Bose. Very good. And Ati Krishnan sir, yes. Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, yes. And Sheikh Taj sir, yes. Abdul Kalam, Dr. Kalam. Fine. Can I have a few more names, please? Yes. Okay. Anyway. Yes. Very good. So here we have Dr. Ganesan. Then we worship those leaders. Yes. Abraham Lincoln. Yes. So thanks for your immediate response. Okay. Yeah. We have Martin Luther King. And Amarnath Reddy sir, yes, you are Chief Minister, Y.S. Rajashekara Reddy, like he is also a leader. And then Ramalingam sir, thank you very much. Nelson Mandela, no one can ignore him. And then Fidel Castro, Madhu Siddharth ma'am, Nehru, very good. Oh yes, fine. So thank you very much for your immediate response. And now let me start by sharing my screen. So we'll start our presentation with this. Ma'am, I hope you can see my screen. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, sir. Okay. Yes, it is visible, sir.
Okay, now I asked you a question. Yes, I asked you to name that leader who comes to your mind the moment you listen to this word leader, and I've got amazing responses. So that means you know how a leader should be, and you're already familiar to leadership skills. Now, if I ask you another question, what do you want in your life? Okay, now I have presented my screen, so I cannot see your responses in the chat box. So let me assume that you are answering to my question. What do you want in your life? So if this question is put to people, okay, generally we get answers like, sir, I want a good job, or sir, I want to have more money, sir, I want to have power, or like I wish to get some status, or I wish to have a nice family, I wish to have a good wife, I wish to have a good boss in the office. So these are some of the things that we aspire for in our life. I hope you would all agree with me. So these are some of the things that we wish to achieve in our life. Now, if I pose you another question, okay, uh, like why do you want all these things? Okay, like why do you want a good job? Why do you want a nice family? Why do you want power? Why do you want more money? So if this question is put to you, and then I'm sure you will just give me one answer. You will say like it would give me happiness. I'm sure you will, all of you will say, like, if I get more money, if I get more power, if I get a nice family, if I get a good job, if I get a nice wife, if I get a good boss, I will be happy in my life. So everyone in this world is after the pursuit of happiness. So all of us, like whether it's your resource person or the participants, the organizers, everyone wants happiness. We want happiness, and if we already have happiness, we wish to improve our happiness. It's not that like all of you are sad. You are happy. That's why you're attending this session, and like you want more happiness. And like we as a social being, we have realized that we cannot be happy unless and until the people okay, who are around us are happy. So we should be happy, and we cannot be happy if others are unhappy. So what do? We try our level best to help them out. Okay, and who are the people who are around us? They are the members of our family. Okay, they are our neighbors. They are the people in our locality or people living close by. People in our organization, whether it is college, school, or office, people in the organization, people in our district, Chennai or Tirupati, people in our state, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Andhra Pradesh, and then our country, India, and the world at large. So, like this happiness is supposed to spread from one person to another. This is why we are here. This is the main purpose of our life. Okay. Now, see, when we want happiness of others, like we are also, like interested in the welfare of others. So only when, you look after someone's welfare, the other person will be happy. And, like when you are interested in the welfare of others, you also like take some efforts so that their performance goes up. Okay, like you tend to help others so that, they can put in more effort and they can raise their standards. And we do that, if we do that, we automatically become leaders. Okay, so if we do that, we automatically become leaders. So to be a leader, one need not be a politician. Okay, so you need not be an MLA or an MP to become a leader, or you need not be a bureaucrat like an IAS officer or an IPS officer. You don't need that all those positions, and like you don't even require okay like stars on your shoulders, like whether you are a captain or a major or a colonel. You don't require all those titles. You don't even require to be a CEO, chief executing officer of a company, to be a leader. As Henry Ford, the founder of Ford Motor Company, he says, like you don't require to hold a position in order to be a leader. So you don't require any titles to be a leader, whether you are an assistant professor or a HOD or principal. You don't require those titles. Anybody can be a leader. So if at all you have some concern for people around you, you are a leader. And if you're doing some things to help them out, you are a leader. So now the second point in the PPT, am I a leader? Me a leader? Yes, you are a leader. If you have some concern for the people sitting next to you, okay, people sitting in front of you, people behind you, people to your right and left, if you have some concern in their happiness, you automatically become eligible to be called a leader. And now you listed so many names before I started the presentation. Maybe towards the end of the session, I wish, like you include your name in that category. So the purpose behind this session is to make you realize that you can also be a great leader like the people whom you have listed, like Mahatma Gandhi ji, Subhash Chandra Bose, Ambedkar, Kamarajar, all those people. So I wish, like you realize your potential and then you emerge out with your leadership skills. That's the intention behind this, maybe to our presentation. And leadership, and what is this leadership? Okay, so the leadership is one of the interpersonal skills. We have lots of interpersonal skills. In fact, the one week session was on this interpersonal skills. I'm sure you have listened to enough lectures on interpersonal skills and you know what those skills are. And leadership is just one of those skills. Okay, it's not the only skill, it is just one of the interpersonal skills. And you know very well that interpersonal skills an umbrella like skill, okay, which has lots of other skills, which involves everything from what you say, communication, and how we approach problems. That is the attitude. So it includes lots of things. It includes active listening, communication, teamwork, responsibility, dependability, motivation, flexibility. The list goes on. And leadership is just one of the interpersonal skills. And like when we say interpersonal skills, we are only referring to the ability to communicate and build relationships with others. So this is the one of the qualities of a leader. Like he is able to communicate well and he is able to build relationships with others. Okay, moving on. Now let us start with some of the definitions that we have on leaders. Okay, like if you refer to books on leadership, you will get hundreds of definitions. I've taken just 4 definitions for this presentation. Okay, to start with, we have a definition given by the empowered woman Indra Nooyi, the former chairman and chief executive officer of PepsiCo. Before that, Jawaharlal Nehru in his prose piece, What is Culture? Okay, he says that like it is difficult to define culture, but in the entire prose piece, he gives us the constituents of culture, or he gives us the attributes that are associated with culture. Similarly, Indra Nooyi in this definition, she says, like it is very hard to define. Leadership is very hard to define, and good leadership is even harder. Okay, so good leadership is even harder to define. But she says, if you can get people to follow you to the end of the earth, okay, so if you can make people follow you to the end of the earth, you are a great leader. Okay, I think someone is celebrating this definition with some music. Okay, so I
Hello,
request the participants to
Mr.
kindly
Sunil.
mute themselves. Okay, thank you, ma'am. So leadership, like if you can influence people to follow you to the end of the earth, she says, you are a great leader. So from this definition, it is very clear to us that leadership is all about like motivating a group of people to act towards a common goal. So leadership, according to her, it's all about motivating, it's about inspiring people to follow you. She said, like the people should follow you even to the end of the earth. If you can do that, if you can give them motivation, if you can inspire them, you are a great leader, according to Indra Nooyi. Now, like Indra Nooyi she talks about like motivating people to follow you to the end of the earth. And here, according to the former First Lady of the US, okay, Rosalind Carter, she says a leader takes people where they want to go. Okay, so according to her, she says a leader takes people where they want to go. Okay, and a great leader takes people where they ought to go. Let me read the definition given there. She says a great leader takes people where they don't necessarily want to go but ought to go. So according to her, a leader takes people where they want to go. For example, in a college, let's take the college setup. Okay, like where do we wish to go as teachers? Okay, like we join as assistant professor, then we want to become associate professor, and then from there on we wish to become professor, and then head, maybe dean, and principal. Okay, so this is our aim. So this is where we want to go. Okay, this is where we want to go. And if some people are helping you to reach this level, is a leader. And who are these great leaders? According to Rosalind Carter, she says, great leaders, okay, they take you to a place where, okay, you ought to go, you should be. For example, which is the most important thing for a teacher? The most important thing for a teacher is to find a balance between teaching and research. So if someone in your college is inspiring you or motivating you to concentrate both on teaching and research, he is a great leader. Okay, so according to her, a great leader should take you to a place where you are not necessarily going, but you should be going. So no, like it's not just making you follow, like it's making you go to a place where you are supposed to. It's not just teaching alone. Like every institution, every HOD, gives enough lecture on how to be a good teacher, how to improve the quality of teaching. But there are very few institutions where teachers are made to focus even on research aspect. So this is the definition given by Miss Rosalind Carter. Now, again, the essence of leadership, the essence of great leadership, and what is that? The essence of great leadership is influence. Okay, like as Indra Nooyi said, okay, like motivation, like inspiring. So when the essence of great leadership is influencing people, the ability to influence people, and not authority. The authority, the word authority means power. Okay, because authority cannot do anything, because authority can only instill fear. Authority can, at the max, it can give fear and awe, but never happiness. And as we have already seen, like leadership is all about influencing people so that they ought to do what they should be doing and they are happy at the end of the day. Now, whether the leadership is all about motivating or influencing people to follow us to the end of the world, John Maxwell, this is a famous definition. I'm sure all of you must have come across this in online. Okay, so as per this definition, okay, a leader is one who knows the way, shows the way, and goes the way. Okay, a leader is one who knows the way, shows the way, and goes the way. Okay. Now the key words in this definition are knowing the way, showing the way, and going the way. Okay, so a leader is expected to know something, is expected to show something, and he is expected to go as per the instructions that he gives. So he's supposed to set an example. He's supposed to lead from the front. And leaders, they always lead from the front. Now let me give you a couple of examples. Like most of you mentioned the Mahatma Gandhi. So let me take the same example of Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi, he believed in his principle of ahimsa. He believed in non-violence. Okay, so he had enough knowledge on non-violence. So he thought that, not with non-violence, India will get its freedom. So that was the knowledge that he had on non-violence. Okay, and then he didn't stop with that. He showed the entire world. He showed the entire world. He taught the entire world, non-violence could be used as a means of getting independence. And then did he go as per the way? Yes, he went as per the way. When he was beaten by the police, he never used any violence. He not only asked people not to use violence, but he also ensured that, he never used any violence. So he knew about non-violence, he practiced ahimsa, and he also preached ahimsa to the entire. So leader should be like that. Okay, let me give you another contrasting example of Subhash Chandra Bose. Again, most of you mentioned that name. That's why I'm taking that name of Subhash Chandra Bose. Okay, Subhash Chandra Bose, he was just, his thoughts were just opposite of Mahatma Gandhi. Like he believed in like fighting to get freedom. He didn't believe that, we should get freedom by begging people. So he believed in using violence. He believed in an organized army called Indian National Army, and then he believed that people should give blood to get the freedom. So that was the belief that he had. So he showed the world, and he created this INA. He fought, and then he ensured that India got its independence. So a leader should always know something. They should explain things clearly, and they should go as per the plan. Let's take the college scenario. In college scenario, a leader, let's say a head of the department, let's say English head of the department. The English head of the department should know about every word. Otherwise, he will not be in a position to explain the whole explain things to the junior staff, explain things to the others, and then get things done. So he should know everything. He should know everything about every work that should be done, and he should be able to explain things, and he should be following the same pattern. Okay, let's say like framing timetable. At the beginning of every academic year, this work is there, framing timetable. So the leader should know how to frame the timetable, how to assign different hours to different people, how to assign different classes. Okay, so he should have a thorough knowledge about that. It's not that he asks the junior most staff to frame timetable and then forget about it. So he should know about the number of classes, number of staff, number of hours allotted. So he should have a clear knowledge about that. So he should be able to explain things to his staff, and more importantly, he goes to the class as per the timetable. It's not that like he creates a timetable and he says timetable is only meant for others, not for me. Okay, so he shows the way. So a leader knows the way, he shows the way, and most importantly, he goes the way. This is the definition given by John Maxwell. And then see, leadership is always about action. It's always about action. It's about doing things. And it's not about wishing for things. It's not just wishing or just dreaming, as like Barack Obama, former US president, says change will not come if we just wait. And he says like we are the change that we seek. So we are the change that we seek, and so we should keep on working. It is action. It is not just like wishing or dreaming that I should my department should go like this or that. It is your action, and it's your example. Okay, leading by example. Stephen Covey, he beautifully says, leadership is not about position. It's not about the titles that we have, like doctor so and so, or like HOD, dean of academic, things like that. It's not about that. It's what you do, and it's what example that you set for others that determines your leadership, says Stephen Covey. And like leadership is also based on the inspiration. I think we started with that inspiration, Indra Nooyi's definition. It's about inspiration and not domination. Like most of the people in our context, Indian context, they think that once you become leader, you get a chance to dominate people. Once you become a HOD, you get a nice chance to dictate terms with your staff. That's not correct. Okay, so leadership is not domination. It's about inspiration. How well you inspire people. See, as you listed leaders like Nelson Mandela, okay, Abdul Kalam, Jesus Christ. Okay, see, these people are not known for the powers that they exercised. Okay, but we remember them for the inspiration that they gave to the people. So leadership is always about inspiration. And now, if you ask me, how do leaders give inspiration? Okay, like, do they have any magic? How do they give inspiration to people? Like, can I just call my people and say, I'm giving you inspiration, come sit down, get it? No, it's not that. Okay, so great leaders, they give inspiration by taking responsibility for everything that goes wrong. I repeat, they take responsibility for everything that goes wrong. Okay, and they give subordinates credit for everything that goes well. Okay, now maybe I should ask you, okay, like, is there any leader in your department, or is there any person in the department, or in your college, or in your company, who takes responsibility for everything that goes wrong? For example, if you don't do well, okay, like, do you have someone who will say, okay, it's not his mistake or her mistake, it is my mistake, I accept it. Okay, that means we do not have good quality leadership in our life. So a good leader always takes responsibility for everything that goes wrong. And when things go well, when things achieve success, what does he do? He gives subordinates the credit for everything. Okay, so in this regard, like, let me remind you about one of the interviews given by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Okay, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam shares about his first defeat, his first failure in ISRO. Okay, like his first failure in ISRO as a scientist. Okay, the rocket which was supposed to go up, it only went into the Bay of Bengal, and it was a great failure. So at that time, the chairman of ISRO, it was Professor Satish Dhawan. So Satish Dhawan went up to Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam and he said, nothing to worry. Okay, just relax. Don't worry about anybody. I will take the press conference. So Abdul Kalam proudly says that, it was his leader, the chairman of ISR, who took the blame on his shoulders and addressed the press. Okay, whereas the man who was the project director of that mission, okay, he was not exposed to the people. He was not exposed that it's only because of this guy that the project failed. Okay, so he didn't do that. So thereby, Professor Satish Dhawan displayed a great leadership by protecting Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam and then shouldering all the responsibilities for the defeat, responsibility for the failure. And the next year, this propelled Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. This motivated him, this inspired him, and the next year, 1980, 79, he failed, and 80, the rocket went up, and then it deposited all the satellites in the orbit. So the next year, he thought, again, like a leader will address the press. This time, Professor Satish Dhawan said, Abdul Kalam, well done, okay, good job. So now you will address the press. So when leaders, when they get success, they always attribute to their fellow mates. They never say that I succeeded it. Okay, they always attribute it to their team, to their team members. But when they fail, they take their own responsibility. This is how leaders inspire people. Okay, so this is the inspiration that we expect from our surrounding. And in every organization, whether it is a office, like a company or a college, there are two kinds of people. Okay, like in every place, you have two kinds of people. First one, the first group are those who work. Okay, who work. The second group, they don't work, but they take credit. I'm sure, like the moment I said this, you all have people in your mind. Yes, I have 10 people in my office, and 4 or 5 people work, and other 5, they just relax and then they get credit. I'm sure you have 5, 6 names in your mind. Okay, so this is the state of every organization, not only about your office or my college, like any place, A, B, C. So this is the place. In every place, you have two groups. And our Mrs. Indira Gandhi, our prime minister, former prime minister, she says it's better, we form the first group. A leader always is present in the first group. Okay, so we have to, constantly keep working. Let's not worry about the credit. Let's try to be in the first group, because in the first group, the competition is very less. Because, there will be very few people who will be interested to work, whereas the majority, will be ready to take credit. Okay, like once, people post for photograph, mostly the people who work are not permitted to stand even. Okay, so like when people post for a photograph, the competition that is there. People will, will crowd more in numbers. But when it comes to work, that there are very few people, because work, it requires energy, it requires leadership, and that is why she says, let us be in the first group, because competition is less. So to be a leader, the competition is very, very less. If you want to be a leader, yes, you have a great scope, because not many people aspire to be a leader, because they are worried only about their happiness, not about the welfare of others. Okay. Now, how can we ignore Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam's definition? Okay, like after all, he's the only people's president. Like most of the youngsters these days, they have him as their role model. Okay, and according to our people's president, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, he says, okay, that leaders should have 3 important things. Okay, vision. Okay, so leaders should have a vision first. Okay, and then passion. And then he says, he should not be afraid of any problem. Okay, he should not be afraid of any problem. And then he says, the last word he says is integrity. So according to him, leaders should have 4 important things. Leader should have a vision. He should have a passion. He should not be scared of any problem. And then he should defeat the problem. And then he should be a man or a woman of integrity. Now, what is this vision? Okay, what is this vision? Vision is all about, foreseeing the future, the ability to see the future. For example, leaders generally, they are at the helm, they're at the top of the organization. So by virtue of being at the top, they should be in a position to foresee the future. For example, how will my department be next year? How will my department be in 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 50 years down the line? How will my college be, or how will my company be? So that's what a vision a leader should have. Okay, so he should have a plan for future, not only just have vision and then stop not having any plan at all. Okay, so Vision 2020 by Dr. Abdul Kalam, it's all about his plan. He says, if India works in these aspects, India will definitely become a developed country. So you should also have a plan so that you can execute the plan to achieve your goal. So that's the first criteria according to Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Leader should have a great vision. Okay. So number two, the second one is passion. PASSION, passion. This is a key word. I'm sure all of you have heard of heard of the greatest motivational speaker, Simon Sinek. Yes, Simon Sinek. He was associated with this Apple, and it is believed that he was the one who inspired people and people to come out with great success. Okay, so Simon Sinek, he says, he defines passion as he says, if you work hard for something that you love, that is passion. Yes, according to him, if you work hard for something that you love, that is passion. For example, if you love teaching Shakespeare, that's your passion. If you love pronouncing words correctly, that's your passion. If you love motivating people, that's your passion. Okay, whereas he says, if you work hard on something which you don't love, then that is stress. Okay, now if I ask you this question, how many of you have stress from the office? That means, you don't love that. Okay, you don't love that. And according to Abdul Kalam, you should love every work that you do. Okay, you should love. Okay, if you don't love, anyway you have to do it. So why not just love and then do it? Why not display passion in our workplace? So let us love the work that we do, because as teachers, we are after the welfare of students and the students of the future leaders of the country. So let us involve ourselves. Let us love the work that we do. Of course, we will have problems, and he says, will not be afraid of problems. Leaders should not be afraid of any problem. Problems are bound to be there. Okay, problems will be there, but we should know how to defeat it. And then the fourth word that he comes up with, he says, he must work with integrity. Okay, and what is this word integrity? Integrity is very simple. He says, integrity is doing what you say. Okay, integrity is doing what you say and saying only what you do. Okay, it's doing what you say and saying what you do. In fact, if you're honest, okay, if you're honest, you are a man of integrity. Let me give you an example. I have seen many places, where they hold conferences on child labor. Okay, so throughout the day, they would be talking about the evils of child labor, how child labor would be mitigated. And during the break time, you can find this, kids, boys below the age of 15 would be serving tea. That is not integrity. Okay, so when you believe in abolishing child labor, maybe you should start from your place. You should start from your home. You should start from your office. And then there are many people who talk about the evils of dowry. But if you ask them a question, did you receive dowry? Again, they would be smiling with some embarrassment. Okay, so they would be embarrassed if you ask that question, did you get dowry? And these days, there is a standard word, everywhere you come across, women empowerment. And most of the people, most of the leaders who talk about women empowerment, they don't give equal opportunities to women. If you ask them how many seats have you given to women in your state, again they would have this embarrassing smile. So these are not the examples of integrity. Integrity is doing what you preach and preaching only what you do. Had all the politicians had this one word, integrity, India would have become developed. Because in every election, you come across statements like, we will give you food, clothing, shelter, but we are yet to achieve that. So that itself says that, in India or in the world, it's we do not have more people with integrity. I'm not saying no one has integrity. There are very few people who have this vision for India, passion for India, and integrity with which India can go up. Okay, so let's not just preach morals to others. Let's not talk about corruption everywhere. Let's ensure that in our place there is no corruption. If you are not corrupt, at least there is one person in India who is not corrupt, correct? So you are reducing the number of corruption by one. So let us start from oneself. Let us not just preach to the world. Let us practice first and then start preaching. That is the meaning of integrity. Okay. Now, after analyzing the four important definitions on leadership, let me take you to a new dimension of leadership. Okay, so from with this definition, like our idea will shift. Okay, here we have a quote by one of the finest field marshals of a country that a country has ever seen. Who is he? It's Field Marshal Philip Chetwood. Okay, so Field Marshal Philip Chetwood says, and I quote, "The safety, honor, and welfare of your country come first, always and every time. The honor, welfare, and comfort of the men you command come next. Your own ease, comfort, and safety come last, always and every time." See, these words from Field Marshal Philip Chetwood's speech has become immortalized, and they're carved in stone on the walls of Chetwood building, which is there in Indian Military Academy, Dehradun. And these lines, they represent the highest ethos of leadership and soldiering. And these lines have become the, guiding beacons for officers of Indian Armed Forces. Now, if you examine the quotation, okay, like you will come across the priorities. Okay, so he enlists the priorities. So what are the priorities of a leader? Okay, so for a leader, the first priority is what? He says the safety of the country. The safety of the country is the first. So there are three things: the safety, honor, and then welfare. So safety of the country comes first, and then the honor of the country. What is honor of the country? Okay, like safeguarding the good image of the country. Okay, good, like safeguarding the national anthem. Okay, like ensuring that no one insults the national anthem, national flag, constitution. So we are supposed to fight for the honor of our country, and then we have to look for the welfare of the country. So country always comes first. Okay, and he says always and every time. So country always comes first for a leader. And then second one, the next priority is the honor, welfare, and comfort of the men you command. Okay, so what does it mean? So you have to look after the honor, welfare, and comfort of the people who are with you. So that is the second priority. And then comes the third, last. Okay, he says, or last, always and every time. What comes there? Your own ease. Okay, like our own ease, that my own ease, my comfort, and my safety, okay, will be always coming at the end. Okay, so this is this is the priority that Field Marshal Philip Chetwood enlisted. Okay, now do you think our politicians or most of the politicians follow this line? I'm sure like you will have a smile on your face and you will say that yeah, they follow it, but they start from the third. Okay, so they start from the third, like their own comfort first, okay, their safety first, and then their children, maybe their grandchildren, and then if they have time, they will think about the party men, maybe their own families, and then if they have time, they will think about the country. Okay, so this is how it generally goes. But a leader is always supposed to think in terms of the country first. Okay, yeah, there are some measures taken by the government which affects me, but fine, no problem. Okay, let it affect me. But if the country is progressing, no problem. Let the country progress. Okay, so we should be having that kind of attitude. Okay, and again in our workplace. Okay, in our workplace, which is more important? First, okay, like this is for leader from army background. So the country comes first, and every civilian is also supposed to think in terms of country first, then maybe organization, and then maybe my own family. So this is the order of this should be the order of every civilian. Maybe when you go to a college, okay, let's say we are all teachers, we are working in a college. So in a college, which is of utmost importance, number one, honor of my college, the name of my college. So I will not speak ill of my college, whether the management is corrupt or whether the staff, they are not working. I will not speak anything ill of our college, because the honor of my institution is of utmost importance. And then the welfare of the people around me. Okay, so the welfare of people around me. So these days, like Corona time, the 7 months time, Okay, you must have seen many institutions how they honor their staff. Okay, Tata was the only concern which said, okay, like let that be locked down for any number of time, but every single worker in my organization will be fully paid. But this commitment was not even given by educational institutions. I'm sorry to say this. Most of the educational institutions did not give this promise. They said, like we cannot help you. Maybe you do some other work. Okay, on Times of India, it was reported that one English professor was selling vegetables. Okay, because of Corona. That means, the institution does not think about welfare of the staff. They don't worry about the honor of the staff. They don't worry about the comfort of the men. Okay, so that is leadership. Leadership is always looking after the welfare of people and then thinking about your profit. Okay, so this is leadership. This is actual leadership according to Field Marshal Philip Church. Just imagine, if people do not have safety in the workplace. Okay, like the job guarantee is not there. Okay, like if they do not know whether they would get the next month's pay. Okay, do you think they would be able to give the best? No, it cannot happen. Only when you look after the welfare of people, like people would feel happy and then they would contribute something for the development of the organization. Let profit come last. Okay, like your company's profit. Okay, that's also important, but that can come later. If people are progressing, that means country is progressing. So that is what he says, Sir Philip at Jetwood. And at home, maybe when we're in office first, okay, then the welfare of office people, and then about last. At home, for example, I'm a father, so I should look after the safety of my family. Okay, whether is my family safe in the cyclone Nivar? Okay, and then my honor of my family. Okay, I should ensure that no one speaks ill of my wife, my children, and then the welfare. I should look after the welfare of my wife and my children. That's number one. Number two is, like about their growth, about their happiness, others' happiness. And then third, I should think about myself. Okay, so this should be the priority of any leader according to Sir, okay, like Field Marshal Philip Jetwood. Okay. I hope I am clear to you. Now let's move on to this observation on leadership. Okay. Now we have seen different quotations, different perspectives, and like from these quotations or these different perspectives, we learn that leadership is all about mindset. So leadership is mainly about mindset. It is not about age. Okay, it's not about age. Like for example, Tejas P. Surya. Okay, is an MP, the youngest MP. Okay, you need not be old to become a member of parliament. Okay, like you have also seen people coming in wheelchair to take the oath of chief minister. Okay, so you don't require to be okay old or like age doesn't matter in terms of leadership. And second one, it's not about your experience. Okay, for example, check. Okay, CEO of Google and Alphabet. Okay, like it's not about experience. It's all, okay, like he's not at 60 plus or 70 plus. Okay, so he's young. Okay, so you don't require that experience also. Maybe only in government concern, like generally principals are the senior most people. Okay, who just relax for just 1 year and then get the pension. So only in government concerns they look after experience, but in private concerns, fortunately, it's not experience that matters. And it's not about skill set alone. It's not about skill set alone. For example, Martin Luther King. Okay, Martin Luther King, he was okay, like priest. He was a priest. Like, but how did he become a leader? Okay, so it's not about your skill set alone. It's not about your professional skill alone. It's all about your interpersonal skills which help you to build relationships. And like the leadership is all about your attitude. And what is this attitude? The way you look at the world. Okay, the way you look around and the way you take ownership and accountability. Again, responsibility. So the way in which you take responsibility, and then it's all about your willingness to sacrifice your life for others. And they say that leadership skills, 15% skills, and then 85% attitude. And then even this founder of Visa, D Hawk, he says like you should be investing 40% of your time in leading yourself. You should examine yourself first, and then only you can lead others. It's said by D. Hawk, founder of Visa. Okay? Now, types of leaders and okay, how does someone become a leader? Okay, like people become leaders based on things like attitude. Okay, Okay, if on interest, if you volunteer in some places, you become leader. People become leader based on their intelligence. Okay, intelligence, knowledge. Like Dr. Ambedkar, he was chosen to draft the constitution because of his knowledge, intelligence. Then experience, yes, some people they become leader because by their experience. And yeah, maybe these things you will find in textbooks, but there are other ways in which people get elected. Like you get elected, you get selected. Um, you some people they work it out. You know how people work it out, and then some people pull others' legs. So these things you will not find in any book, any textbooks. Okay, so but these are some of the ways in which people become. Okay, like attitude, interest, intelligence, experience. Okay, and other means. Okay, and then whether you become leader through attitude, interest, intelligence, experience, you will belong to one among these three types of leadership or styles of leadership. Okay, so these are the three styles of leadership. Okay, the first one is autocratic. Second one is democratic, and third one is laissez-faire. Okay, laissez-faire. That's how it's supposed to be pronounced. It's a French term. Okay, laissez-faire. Okay, so these are the three styles of leadership. Okay, now, okay, like I cannot read your message in the chat box. Now I would request everyone to unmute himself or herself and then give me one name that comes to your mind when you think of this word autocratic. Can I have your response, please?
Hitler.
Yeah, very good. Hitler. Okay, good. Hitler. Thank you very much. Any other name that comes to Mussolini? Very good. Hitler, Mussolini. Okay. Any other name? Hitler, Mussolini. Apart from these two, I'm sure you have faced many autocratic leaders. Okay, Subhash Chandra Bose. You call it autocratic. Fine. Okay.
Tipu Sultan.
Sorry.
Tipu Sultan.
Oh, Tipu Sultan. Okay. Very good. Tipu Sultan.
Emperor Ashoka.
Okay. Maybe, yeah, I've got just a few names. Hitler, Mussolini. I thought you'll be able to give me the names from your area also, autocratic. Okay, now can I have some names for democratic leaders? Can I have some names for democratic leaders? Can I get some names for democratic leaders, please?
Atal Bihari Vajpayee.
Yeah, okay, our Prime Minister Vajpayee. Okay.
Gandhiji.
Yeah, Gandhiji. Very good, ma'am. Abraham Lincoln, good, sir. Well,
The democratic country, sir.
yeah, India is a democratic country, ma'am. I agree, but all the leaders in India are not democratic. I'll give you an example. I'll give you examples for all. Okay, thank you very much for your response. Okay, so your response makes me believe that like you are attentive. Okay, you are listening to me. Thank you very much. So now let me explain the leadership styles. Now, as ma'am rightly said, India is a democratic country, so we cannot have autocratic people in India. Okay, but that's not correct, ma'am. Okay, like anybody can have any one of these leadership styles. Okay, now let me start with this autocratic. Who are these autocratic leaders? This is a style. Okay, so autocratic leaders, they decide on their own. They never discuss with others. They never discuss anything with others. They just expect others to follow their orders. Okay, so autocratic leaders, they never discuss with any people. They take their own decision and they expect their orders to be executed immediately. For example, there are HODs, okay, who will not discuss anything with their staff. They will come suddenly one day with their timetable. They'll say, you will handle these many classes and these many hours. That's it, simple. So such leaders are called as autocratic leaders. Okay, so autocratic leaders, okay, don't think that in democratic country there's no place for autocratic leaders. Okay, they decide on their own. They never discuss. Okay, they expect their orders to be obeyed, and they never indulge in any discussion. Now the democratic leaders, okay, democratic leaders are just opposite of autocratic. Okay, so they always discuss with people. They will never take a decision on their own. They always listen to others. They try to please all in the department. There are 10 people in the department. They, for each and everything, they will send messages to all the 10 people. Hey, come on, what shall I do? Okay, they will seek opinion of all the 10 people. So that is autocratic and democratic. Now the third one, the French term, okay, laissez-faire. Laissez-faire, okay. Laissez-faire, it actually means leave me alone. leave me alone, मुझे छोड़ दो. Okay, like leave me all alone. You do it. Someone do it. Okay, I'm not worried. They are just the link between the management and the staff. The moment they get a letter from principal, they will forward it to the particular class in charge. Okay, they will just forward it to the class in charge. If it is first year or second year or third year or PG, their work gets over there. He will be a leader, but it will be just like a postman getting letter from principal and giving it to the particular staff. And whatever the particular staff says, he will go and tell to the principal. That's the only job of a laser tag. Now I am sure you will realize that yes, we do have these three people in our office. In every office, there will be people who are autocratic, who are democratic, and who are lazy. Okay, let's take an example of organizing an international webinar. Okay, like here we have a webinar going on live. Okay, let's imagine that your institution wants to organize one international webinar. And now if you have an autocratic principal, okay, autocratic principal will find out a guy, okay, maybe Dr. Vanishri. Okay, so now he will make a phone call to Dr. Vanishri and he would just say, ma'am, you are supposed to organize this international webinar. Okay, next Monday you have to give me a brochure. Okay, Wednesday you will give me the list of the speakers. Okay, Thursday you will give me all the brochures related paperwork, and next Monday you have to start. Okay, and I'll give you just maybe 50,000 rupees. With this you will start. Okay, so he will just nominate somebody. He will give the task, and he will monitor. Monitor in the sense like for every session he will be there. He will not speak anything. He will just observe what is going on. This is an example of autocratic leader. Now, democratic leader, okay, immediately he will call for a meeting. He will call all the HODs, and then he will say, let this webinar, let this responsibility go to English department. And then he will constitute many teams. One team will look after documentation, one team after the participant, one team after the certificate, one team after the technical issue. Okay, so many teams will be formed. Many teams will be created. And this democratic leader, he will participate in works. Okay, he will involve himself in every department. He will go to every department, see if they are doing it. He will do his help. Okay, so such leaders are called as a democratic leader. And basic leader, like he will, the moment he gets, if the principal gets this message from management, like to organize a webinar, he will think, okay, he will call English HOD and says, okay, like I am from physics department, I don't know anything about the soft skills and interpersonal skills, so you do it. Okay, don't disturb me. Okay, so such leaders are called as laissez-faire. Okay, so now I'm sure you know the different styles of leadership. Okay, and now if I ask you which type is the best, okay, which type is the best? A good leader will have all these three. Okay, at sometimes he will be autocratic, sometimes democratic, and sometimes laissez-faire. Okay, when should he be autocratic? When there is no time. Okay, whether to it's raining heavily. Should I call all the HODs and discuss whether the college should be declared a holiday? No, he should decide on his own. Okay, he should open his window, see the heavy rain, and he should take his own decision. That is autocratic leader. Democratic, yes, when there is time, when there is ample time, and when he needs opinion from others, he can form a meeting. Okay, so democratic leaders, like when you have ample time, when you need opinions of others, you can be democratic. And laissez-faire, yes, maybe towards the end of your career, when you wish to give chance to others. Okay, when you wish to wish others to grow, you have to be a laissez-faire leader. Okay, so maybe if someone is desiring to grow, you should be happy with the laissez-faire because he will not interfere in anything. Okay, he will not interfere in anything. And autocratic leaders, if you are not interested in taking decision, you should like the autocratic leader because he will make things clear for you, and all that you have to do is work as per the schedule given by him. Okay, so there are advantages and disadvantages of both. Okay, all these three leadership. So you have to decide on which leadership you have to be in. And a good leader always has the combination of all the three. So he knows when to be autocratic and when to be democratic, and to relax and give responsibility to others. Now, coming on to this one, okay, are leaders born or made? Okay, are leaders born or made? This debate, has been going on for many generations. Are leaders born or made? Maybe a few leaders are born. Let me just give you the names of leaders who are born leaders. Okay, the first name that comes to my mind is Sri Krishna. Okay, Sri Krishna was born a leader. Maybe he had that divine divinity within him. Sri Rama, yes, Lord Ramachandra. Okay, and then Jesus Christ. So maybe to me, our Prophet Muhammad. So only these four names, four people, maybe they were born as leaders. But other leaders like Dr. Ambedkar, Mother Teresa, the leaders that you have highlighted, Anna Hazare, Abraham Lincoln, Bhagat Singh, okay, Gandhiji. So these leaders, they emerged as leaders. Society made them leaders. Dr. Ambedkar, he was born into a very poor family. Okay, he was discriminated based on his caste, but still, like he wanted to uplift the downtrodden people, and that made him a leader. Society made him a leader. Gandhiji wanted Indians to get freedom, so he emerged as a leader. Anna Hazare fight against corruption, that made him a leader. Bhagat Singh freedom for people, that made him a leader. Mother Teresa, she looked at the poor plight of Indians, so she wanted to serve people. So generally society makes leaders, or the situation in which you are in, or the qualities that you have, the inborn qualities that you have, that propels you a leader. And fortunately, if you analyze all these leaders, okay, so they seem to have common characteristics. We call them traits or qualities, and fortunately, everyone can develop these qualities with the right attitude. If you have these qualities, maybe you can sharpen these qualities. So like we need to just sharpen the qualities or hone the qualities to become a great leader as the people that we have listed. Now, there are thousands of models of leadership. Maybe if you just type leadership models on Google, you will get enough number. Okay, and then you have lots of theories also associated with this leadership model. But for this presentation, I'm just going to take a few sources, and mostly from Indian spiritual context. Okay. Now, Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita is regarded as the greatest manual on leadership. And and Bhagavad Gita says that to become effective leaders, leaders should know their own self. I hope you can see that. Okay, so the first one is about physical. Okay, so Bhagavad Gita talks about self-awareness as the first criteria. Okay, so Bhagavad Gita, is as a leadership manual. Maybe if you regard it as a leadership manual, it talks about many skills. And the first thing that it talks about is physical. Okay, when we say physical, we are referring to physical posture. So a leader, first he should be physically fit. And like this sound mind resides only in a sound body. And when I say physical fitness, like I'm only referring to fitness required for your job. For example, I'm a professor, I'm a teacher. I should be fit enough to stand and deliver lectures for at least 3 hours, minimum 3 hours. Okay, so that's the fitness that is required from me. And then someone working in IT company, he requires the fitness to sit in a place and work on his system for about 8 hours. So that's the fitness that he requires, physical fitness. So leader, he should concentrate on his physical fitness, whether he does his yoga or he goes for walking or jogging or something, swimming, cycling. Okay, he should concentrate on his physical fitness. Now, why on physical fitness? Because only when you are physically fit, you can stand well, you can walk well, you will be dressing well. Okay, you will have a good bearing. The way you carry yourself will be good. Okay, for example, you cannot change your appearance. Like I'm dark, I'm black. Okay, I cannot become fat, but at least I can make myself active. I can make myself look energetic, and that I can do if I concentrate on my physical fitness. So the fitness is the first important thing enlisted by Bhagavad Gita. Now the second one, psychological. Okay, like if I'm just physically fit, I'll be a brute animal. I don't. Okay, like a leader should have physical and also psychological. What is psychological? Psychological is all about mind. Okay, I'm sure you must have heard of this name of Daniel Goleman, emotional intelligence or emotional quotient. He defines, this emotional intelligence as the discipline of understanding our mind, especially the emotions. The key word is emotions that grew in our mind, like like passion, greed, anger, frustration, love, pain, hatredness, jealousy, etc. And then it also means emotional intelligence means like our ability to manage all these emotions in a healthy manner. So first, leader should look after his health, and then about all the emotions. He should know how to control his emotions. Okay, so he should not, like be carried away by his emotions. He should know how to control the emotions in a healthy manner. And like he says, if we become victims to our emotions, we cannot be a effective leader. Okay, like you cannot be an effective person, let alone being effective leader. And effective leadership flourishes only when leaders have a high level of this emotional intelligence. Okay, so the first one is physical, then mind, this emotional intelligence, and the third one is about the deepest consciousness. Now, what is that deepest consciousness? Deepest consciousness is about like understanding who we are, the true purpose of our survival. And many like wisdom traditions refer to this as the knowledge about our soul. Okay, so we are all unique. So like everyone has like some purpose behind this creation. God has created us with some purpose. What is that purpose? Like we have to understand that. And Bhagavad Gita says that like we can understand our true potential and purpose only by understanding this soul, this Atma. We have to understand that Atma. Okay, and then it is Bhagavad Gita says, like only when you understand yourself, you will be in a position to guide others. Okay, like only when you know who you are, you will be able to guide others. As like Socrates, the Greek philosopher, says, the unexamined life is not worth living. If you don't know who you are, if you have not examined yourself, it's not worth living at all. Okay, so like we should know who we are first. So first we should know who we are, and then we should know our surroundings. We should know also about our surroundings. And Bhagavad Gita, like it talks about self-reflection. Okay, self-reflection. If you only know about you, how do we know ourselves? Okay, how do we get this self-awareness? We get that self-awareness by self-reflection. And self-reflection, we get it by meditation. Now, don't think that I'm asking you to do meditation like Baba Ramdev or this Swamiji, that Swamiji. I'm not asking you to get into forms. This is just thinking about who you are. Maybe in the early morning, 5 minutes, or towards the end of the day, another 10 minutes. What is self-reflection? What is the purpose of my life? Okay, what did I do this day? What should I be doing this day? Where did I go wrong? Okay, how should I improve my next day? Okay, this is self-reflection. And when you do this meditation, like you get that inner peace. Okay, you have the peace within. And when you have peace within, you will smile frequently. Okay, you will be appreciating things around you. You will not be judging people, judging things. You will have less worries. You will be enjoying your life, and you will be loving everybody. You will be spreading your love. So the first thing that Bhagavad Gita recommends is self-awareness. And self-awareness, like it talks about meditation. And Bhagavad Gita says that this meditation is not possible without character and discipline. Okay, so it says that you cannot know about who you are without developing your character and discipline. So Bhagavad Gita wants us to concentrate on character and discipline. Now, what is this character and discipline? Okay, so like the good, it talks about good character. Okay, these days, like we come across unethical issues, unethical, immoral issues in our society. We hear about officials, bureaucrats, politicians being tainted in like crimes against women, looting, robbery, scams, frauds, murder, etc. Do you know the reason behind this? Reason behind this is very simple. People these days, particularly in education, they're not concentrating on character building education. Okay, we're not talking about character in education. Education these days is all about making money. How do we make money? How do we earn lakhs and lakhs, crores and crores, and where do we deposit the money? Okay, so we should be giving more focus on character. Okay, in the 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, we come across this repetition of the word sattvic character. Okay, that's a word used in Bhagavad Gita. Sattvic. Sattvic in Sanskrit means righteousness. Okay, even Abdul Kalam uses the word righteousness. Okay, now for Abdul Kalam, that's the first word. Okay, he says righteousness in the heart. Okay, so if you have that righteousness in the heart, you'll automatically have a beautiful character. And then when you have a beautiful character, okay, you have peace at home. And when you have peace at home, you have peace in the office, you have peace in the state, you have peace in the nation, you have peace in the world. So this is, like the importance of character. Okay. So Bhagavad Gita, like it gives enough emphasis on character. Okay, and then the next one is discipline. Okay, now Discipline. There are many definitions of discipline, but let me give you the definition that I learned from my NCC officer, Major S. Balan. Okay, so he used to differentiate two words: duty and discipline. Okay, duty is obeying the orders that come from conscience. So if your conscience says something and if you obey, that is duty. Now discipline is obeying the orders that come from the rightful authority. For example, in my college, my authority is my head of the department, my principal, and my secretary. Okay, so these are my rightful authorities. Of course, my seniors also. So if I listen to their orders, that is discipline. Okay, like example, punctuality is one of the disciplinary qualities. Like college tells you to come at 8:30, you go at 8:20. That is punctuality. You go on time. Okay, because that's an order given by the higher ups. Whereas you go to the class at 8:30, but what you do in the class, that is based on your duty. Okay, whether are you whiling away your time? Are you just chit chatting with your students? Are you just asking just casual questions? That is determined based on your duty. So discipline is obeying the orders or doing it in a systematic manner, whereas duty is obeying the orders from the conscience. And Swami Vivekananda says, leaders should learn this art of obedience first. Now you must be thinking, why should leaders obey? Leaders are there to command, right? So leaders, they are the ones who should know how to obey first. Only those who learn to obey can become great leaders. This is said by Swami Vivekananda. Okay, so a leader with, okay, so he should, why should a leader learn obeying first? Because when he becomes a leader, he sets standards for others. Okay, like as said by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. He sets standards, second line in the PPT. Sets standards. Okay, he sets, some benchmark for others to follow. And then by his exemplary acts, people look at him as a role model and the entire world follows him. Okay, so for that, a leader is supposed to have this good discipline. And Bhagavad Gita talks about 3 disciplines. Okay, discipline of learning, discipline of speaking, and this discipline of equanimity. Okay, discipline of equanimity. So these are the 3 types of discipline that Bhagavad Gita enlists. Now let's see them one by one. Okay, now discipline of learning. Okay, so discipline of learning. Here I've started with this listening. So if you wish to learn something, first criteria is you should keep your ears open. That's why people say that God has given us 2 ears and 1 mouth. So speak less and work more. Bate kam, kaam jala. Okay, so we should speak less and listen to more of information. As said by this proverb, keep on listening to more of counselors. If we listen to more people giving us advice, obviously we are going to get victory. Okay. So leaders should be open first. Okay, so the leader should be open to listen to others. Okay, and then once you listen, you will get limitless ideas. Okay, so he should also be willing to learn from different sources. As as said by Tamil poetess Abbayar in the 9th century. Okay, she says, known is a drop, unknown is an ocean. Okay, I repeat, known is a drop, unknown is an ocean. Okay, so what we have learned is only just a drop of water in the ocean. We have to learn a lot. It's not that I've acquired my doctorate, okay, that my learning has stopped. No. Okay, so I should be open-minded. So there are enough things to learn. Okay, so for that, it's active listening. I should listen to people. So wherever I go, I should listen. If you are a leader, you should develop this art of listening. And according to Tirukural, you must have heard of this name, Tirukural. Okay, Tirukural, verse number 416, it talks about this quality of active listening. He says, Tiruvalluvar says, a leader listens to any idea, okay, any idea from anybody. Okay, he should actively listen to everyone to get good inputs, ideas, and feedbacks. He said by Tirukural in Tiruvalluvar in verse 416. Okay, so active listening is important. And when you listen to people, for example, if my HOD listens to me, I have a belief that he is giving importance to me. You need not say anything. If you listen to someone's problem, okay, the person feels, there is someone to listen to me. I feel good. Okay, so you will create that in your department, in your organization. Even at home, okay, when your spouse is shouting at you, you don't react, just keep cool, relax. This is one of the tips that I got from my friends. Okay, so he used to say, just relax. Okay, if sister is shouting, don't worry, just relax for some time. Okay, so at least she has a feeling that there is someone listening. Okay, forget about doing something. If you just listen, automatically things will subside. Cyclone will disappear. Okay, maybe after my 5 or 6 hours, it will disappear. So first, let us learn the art of listening. And like no one is perfect. Okay, leaders are not perfect, so they must always learn from others. Okay, so we should always be learning. We should be updating our knowledge. It's not that we have mastered our degrees and so we need not learn anything. No, we should always be updating ourselves. And when it comes to updating, okay, we are talking about our knowledge. Okay, we are talking about IQ, intelligence quotient. So we should constantly update our knowledge or constantly upgrade our skills. Okay, and these days students, our parents, they say that they don't expect learner teachers. They expect only learning teachers. Okay, so learner teachers are those who are finished. They are finished learning. For them, everything is over. Just retirement and pencil papers are pending. So they're not worried about upgrading or updating their knowledge. Learning teachers are those who read every day, who constantly are with the thirst of acquiring knowledge every day. So leaders should be like that. He should constantly upgrade himself, find some opportunity, whether it is corona time or normal time. He should look for opportunities to learn. And you must have heard of this, all leaders are readers. All leaders are readers, and only readers become leaders. Like Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, okay, he used to read for 18 hours. Okay, 18 hours in a day. Okay, out of 24 hours, he spent 18 hours in a day, and that made him, write or frame our constitution. Kamarajar, okay, Kamarajar, he kept on reading when he was in prison. Okay, during independence struggle, he was in prison. From there, he kept on reading. And then Arinyar Anna, our former chief minister, okay, he delayed his operation just because he wanted to complete a book. So leaders are readers, even like Abraham Lincoln. Okay, so they're all readers. Winston Churchill, okay, always readers. Abdul Kalam, a reader. You name any leader, he must have read. Bhagat Singh, how did he get inspiration? By reading. Okay, so leader should always read. Read more. Only when you read more, you can lead people. You can lead by example. Okay, and see, and when I said listening, listening doesn't mean that you listen to everyone. Okay, in office you have this backstabbing, gossiping going around. Oh, leader doesn't listen to all those things. Okay, like as Socrates talks about the triple filter test. Okay, when someone comes with a gossip to you, like ask him whether he is going to speak the truth, whether what he is going to say will give you good things, or whether what he is going to say will help you out, whether it will be useful to you. Okay, so these are the three filters that Socrates wants us to approach. He says, ensure that is whatever you hear passes through this three filter of truth. Number two, goodness. Number three, usefulness. So based on this, you listen. Okay, and then there will be people talking about, will be criticized. Okay, and then don't think that they're bad. Okay, even Bhagat Singh says, like anyone who wants progress, he will criticize and he will challenge every old faith. So don't ignore him. Listen to him and then try to make things happen. Okay, so this is all about listening and learning. So a good leader should improve his IQ. He should improve his intelligence quotient. So every day things are changing. He should ensure that he lives up to that standards of the present day world by constantly updating himself. The next one is this discipline of speaking. Okay, so just like this discipline of listening, discipline of speaking is equally important. And Sri Krishna says, that for a leader, the speaking is also important. And a leader should communicate with honesty. We saw that integrity, right? Yes, here, honesty. So you should speak only what you believe. If you don't believe in something, don't speak. Okay, so you should communicate with honesty and with respect towards others. Okay, so it's not that I am a doctorate in English, I'll not have any respect for people who don't speak in English. No, it's not that. You should have respect for others. You should communicate with honesty and respect for others. respect for others? Do we have respect for the watchman? Do we have respect for people in the canteen? Of course, we have respect for our principal. We have respect for head of the department. Do we recognize others? Do we recognize clerks? Do we know them by their names? Do we ever smile at them? So that is the respect. So when you speak to them, okay, maybe with a smile. Okay, maybe you can greet them. Even if they are not greeting you, nothing wrong, just greet them. Okay. So that's the communication that Sri Krishna is advocating in Bhagavad Gita. So and Sri Krishna also talks about words. He says, like the words, choice of words when you're trying to communicate something, let it be simple. Okay, when you're writing a thesis, let it be scholarly. But when you're trying to communicate to people, let the words be as simple as possible. Because like if a speaker uses high sounding words, no listener would check that word in the dictionary. Okay, he will just think that like he's going above his head. So let the language be very simple and the presentation be effective. Let the presentation be effective. And he says, like if you are honest, automatically the presentation will be effective. Automatically it will be effective and it will be inspiring, motivating to the listener. And then like it should be clear to everyone, whether it's a UG student or a PG student or professors. Okay, so you should reach your audience. Okay, you know to whom you are speaking and you should reach everyone. If people don't understand what you are saying, then there's no purpose in speaking. So your communication should be simple, effective, motivating, and it should be even clear. The clarity should be there. Okay. And when you try to speak, like you shouldn't be trying to impress your audience. You should only try to concentrate on expressing your ideas. Okay, there are two ways of communicating. One is impressing your audience, another one is expressing. Impressing in the sense, at the end of the lecture, if you ask people, they'll say, wow, great. But if you ask them a question, did you understand? They'll say, nothing. Okay, the language is too good, so I couldn't understand. That is impressing the audience. Expressing means the audience should understand each and everything that you say in your presentation. That is, that is expressing presentation. So a leader should concentrate on expressing rather than impressing. And it is said that every time a leader speaks, he is auditioning for leadership because the others are looking at his language. They are listening to his language, and they as you give auditioning, so you have to prepare well and then present well. Okay, and then leaders like leaders that you have listed, Gandhiji, Dr. Martin Luther King, even our Prime Minister. Okay, so they are effective. They became effective leaders because they are able to communicate elegantly at all times. Okay, so again, when speaking, we have to use the Socrates 3 filter. Am I speaking the truth? Am I speaking a good thing? And am I speaking something which is going to be useful to my audience? So maybe we should also use this 3 filters, and then we have to communicate. And when you speak, it also includes your body language. If you're honest, automatically your body language will be appropriate and you'll be able to express more through your body language. And they say that 93% of our thoughts are communicated through our body language and only 7% through words. So focus both on your body language and your language. This is what we learn from Bhagavad Gita. Now the third one is this discipline of equanimity. Okay, so discipline of equanimity. So I have this my favorite lines from the poem "If" by Rudyard Kipling. Okay, so can someone read this line for me, please?
She can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same.
Yeah, thank you, my dear friend. Thank you very much. Okay, so okay, if you can meet. Yeah.
It's a memory poem in 10th standard. Am I
Very
right?
good, sir. Yes, sir. You are right, sir. It's a memory poem for 10th standard, and this poem is taught to all the officers who pass out from Indian Military Academy or Officers Training Academy in Chennai. So every army officer or a naval officer or a Air Force officer is supposed to know this poem by heart. Okay, so if you can meet with triumph is success, and disaster, failure. Okay, and treat those two imposters. Imposters means misleading terms, just the same. You are a leader. Okay, so you are a leader if you can handle both success and failure in the same line. Okay, so that's the meaning of this equanimity. Okay, so equanimity is all about handling success and failure in the same level. Okay, so Bhagavad Gita says, one should not be overtly excited when at good times. So when your company gets more profit, you should not be celebrating too much. And you shouldn't be overtly depressed in bad times like lockdown. You should not cry when you have a failure. Success and failure, they're just part and parcel of leadership. For example, when you get success, attribute it to God. For example, A.R. Rahman, okay, after receiving Oscar, he said, okay, like all the credit goes to my God. Okay, like everything is because of Allah. That's what he said. Get success, attribute it to God. Okay, so when we win, let us attribute it to people around us or to God. And when we lose, let us not give reasons. Like I lost this match because the pitch was not good. My team members were not good. Let us not give reasons. Let us like have this sportsmanship and congratulate the winner. This is the discipline of equanimity. Okay, equanimity means treating good times and bad times in the same level. So in office, some days will be good, some days will be bad. Okay, just because some days are good, don't celebrate too much, because you should understand that bad days are going to come. Okay, so take it equally. So accept success and failure in the same level. Like if your principal is appreciating you one day, okay, don't be too happy, because the next day he might scold you for some reasons. Okay, so treat success and failure in the same level. Okay, so treat them alike. Treat success and failure in the same level. And then the next one. Okay, the next important thing that Bhagavad Gita is talks about, like the challenge of renunciation. Okay, so after the self-awareness, character, and discipline, the next challenge for any leader is, like renunciation, renouncing something. Why renouncing? Leadership is not about you. Leadership is not about us. It's about people around us. It's about service. It's not about myself. It's about serving people. Okay, Bhagavad Gita talks more about renunciation, and even Mahatma Gandhi says talks about renouncing yourself in the service of others. He says the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. This is by Mahatma Gandhi. Even Bible talks about this concept of servant leadership. Okay, and it says whoever wants to be a leader among you must be a servant. You should learn how to be a servant first. So first renounce your ego. First renounce your ego. Okay, so servant leadership is similar to the concept of leadership renunciation. Okay, so leader should have this servitude and compassion towards others. Okay, so he should have compassion. He should have some concern for his fellow humans, and he should abstain from selfish acts. Okay, like Gita talks about sannyasa. Sannyasa means detachment from the results. You should renounce yourself from the results, but not from the action. Okay, so you should act, but you should renounce yourself from the action. So, and Bhagavad Gita also, lists out. It lists out certain things that one must renounce. Now, what are those things that we should renounce? The first one is about negative thoughts. We should renounce negative thoughts. We should renounce pessimistic thoughts. There will be pessimistic people around you. Just ignore them. Just don't be close to them. Okay, just and okay, like you should accept optimism. You should be optimistic. Your words should be optimistic. Your actions should be encouraging. That's the first thing that you have to do. So renounce all negative thoughts. Okay, can I do this? Yes, I can do it. Okay, don't say I think it's not possible. Okay, I think this the cyclone we have, things are not possible. Corona time, it's not possible. No negative thoughts. Only positive thoughts, positive words, positive action. The next thing that we should renounce is like inequality. Inequality. What is inequality? Being very partial to people. Okay, being partial to people. I'm sure like your leader in office or someone in your office at least is partial. He gives some assignments to his known people. That is being biased, being partial. This nepotism. Avoid all those things. Okay, so be fair. Okay, everyone is equal. As Subramania Bharatiyar, again a Tamil poet, he says, all are kings of the land. Everyone is the king of this land. Okay, all the people in India are kings. Okay, there is no up and down. Okay, of course, like society has created that ups and downs, but all God created us all equals. We are all equals. We are leaders. Bharatiyar says we are kings. So treat everyone equally. So treat everyone equally. He says, love, love, love all, otherwise die. Okay, if you are not ready to treat everyone equally, better you die. Okay, so renounce this inequality. Don't be biased. Okay, okay, like be fair in your treatment. And the next one is avoid this selfish desires. Okay, renounce this selfish desires. According to Vivekananda, he says, they alone live who live for others. The rest are more dead than alive. So only those people who care for others, they are living. Others are just dead bodies walking. So renounce your selfish desire and exercise selfless service. Okay, forget about yourself. Okay, you are working for your organization, you are working for your family, and and working is a duty. By working, you are not doing any great thing to anybody. Okay, so one day you have to go, whether you work or you don't work. But before you go, before you depart, before you say bye bye to this world, better do some work. Let that be selfless work. And then the fourth thing that Bhagavad Gita wants you to renounce is indiscipline. So let us learn the art of discipline. Okay, let us learn the art of obeying the orders with a smile. Okay, like in NCC, that's the first um, one of the cardinal principles: obey with a smile. Okay, like whether you like it or not, when your principal says something, you have to obey. So why not obey with a smile? Let us be disciplined. Let us not be dishonest. Let us not have lazy attitude. Okay, let us be honest. Let us have this proactiveness. Let us have this enthusiasm. Okay, the opposite of lazy would be, zealous, this enthusiastic. Okay, a leader should brim with this enthusiasm, so that automatically he infects this surrounding with enthusiasm. And leader should, as we have already seen, should have integrity and proactiveness. Okay, not reactive but proactive. Again, for proactive, you must have heard about the story of Mother Teresa. Once she went to a businessman, okay, a biscuit company businessman, and she wanted some money for her poor children. And this businessman, he lost his cool and he spat on her face. Okay, he just spat on her face and he said, "This is what you deserve. Get out." Okay, and she was not reactive. Had it been other Indian women, okay, she must have taken a chappal and then given him a nice. But she said, "Okay, thank you very much for giving me what I deserve. Please give me, please give my children something that they deserve." And this, like moved that biscuit company owner, and till date, he's supplying biscuit package to that orphanage. So that is proactiveness that we are talking about. So develop this integrity, develop honesty, develop discipline, and develop this art of proactiveness. And then renounce this arrogance. Okay, let us renounce this arrogance. What is this arrogance? I am the head of the department. Okay, so let us remove this arrogance. Okay, so whether people recognize or not, okay, let us not be arrogant with that designation. Okay, you must have heard about one chief minister who was very arrogant, but we do not know how she died, how she breathed her last in the hospital. Okay, so there is no use of being arrogant. As long as we are there in the place, let us be gentle to people, because like you can gently move the world. According to Gandhiji, he says, you can gently shake the world. You don't need to be arrogant in the workplace. I'm sure, when I ask you to think about your great leader, the great leader would not have been arrogant in his attitude. He would have been lovely. He would have been friendly. Okay, so that should be the leader's attitude. He should never be arrogant because of his qualification. He should not think, I have published these many papers, I've given speeches in these many papers. Fine, no problem. After all, everyone is a human being. Okay, everyone is going to die one day or the other. Whether you are a Hitler or you are not an ordinary person, one day you have to die. So let us not be arrogant. Let us, again, the purpose is to be happy and to create happiness. So let us never be arrogant. Let us learn from people. Okay, so maybe I know something about my subject. Maybe other things I don't know. Let me be open-minded and learn. If you have arrogance, you cannot learn, and you will only be ignorant. And if you remove this ego, if you remove this ego, automatically you will be accepted as leader by people. And let us not think about this momentary happiness alone. Let us talk about lasting happiness. Let us think about schemes which would help people for long. For example, in Tamil Nadu, we have this midday noon meal scheme. today, I mean, now that scheme is there in most of the states. Okay, but how did that scheme get into Tamil Nadu first? Okay, our Chief Minister Kamarajar, he was the one who opened schools in almost every village. Okay, he almost every district was full of schools. During his tenure, he opened 17,000 schools. Okay, why? Because he was interested in this lasting happiness, which people would get only through education. And then he came to know that people were not going to school because they were very poor, and that made him think about this midday meal scheme. And people, particularly from southern part of Tamil Nadu, they owe their education primarily because of this. Our parents, our relatives, most of them, they went to school mainly for their food. And now things are improving, but still, this is the effect of taking a decision for lasting happiness. So you should think, of certain things which would give people more happiness in future. Forget about the present happiness. Momentary happiness is not important. Today you are happy, fine. That's not enough. People should be happy for long. People should be happy for generations. Why do we have more trees now? We have more trees because people then they wanted us to enjoy this lasting happiness. But we are not worried about future. We are cutting down trees. Okay, why? Because we are worried about momentary happiness. Okay, the leader should renounce this momentary happiness and think about this long-lasting happiness. Okay, and then you said Mother Teresa. She left her homeland to serve India. Okay, I'm sure she must have. I mean, initially it must have been difficult for her. Again, you must have heard about this Henry Dunant. Particularly people associated with Red Cross must be knowing. He was a very rich man, but he devoted his time and energy for uplifting the war victims. Okay, and Nelson Mandela, he spent I think 27 years in jail. Why? Because he wanted this long-lasting happiness for all the people of South Africa. Okay, and then Dalai Lama also, this ambassador of peace, but he is still in exile in Tibet. So let us not, our leader should not worry about this momentary happiness. He should be more worried about this lasting, long-lasting happiness. So the next one. Okay, so after renouncing, the next important quality that the Bhagavad Gita talks about is courage. Bhagavad Gita says, a true renunciation can happen only because of courage. So if you don't have courage, according to Winston Churchill, he says, the courage is the foremost of the virtue, and the most important quality, because all the other qualities depend on courage. For example, you are against, let's say, dowry. You are against dowry. You should be courageous to say no when your father, looks for an alliance with dowry. So for that, you need courage. When people are giving you bribe, you should have the courage to say no. I will not do it. I will not do anything for money. Okay, when people try to bribe you, you should be courageous to say, no, I have nothing doing. I will be doing my work. I will not take any paisa from anybody. So courage is the most important thing. And again, courage, there are two aspects, physical courage and mental courage. Okay, so physical courage, like the ability to stand alone. Even you believe that your decision is correct, yeah, whether people accept you or don't accept you, you should stand on your own decision. Okay, so you should have the courage to deal with problems. And Tiruvalluvar again, in his verse 621, he says, one should have the physical courage to laugh at the problem. Okay, you should, laugh at your problems, and then the problem, you should feel ashamed, and then it should give you success. Okay, so a courageous leader, again, never gives up. Again, let me, for physical courage and mental courage, let me give you an example from my favorite poem, If. Let me give you a few lines. If you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they're gone, you're physically tired, you are running, maybe you have completed, say, 10-kilometer run. Okay, after that, your body tells you, come on, stop. But there is something which tells you, hold on, and so hold on when there is nothing in you, except the will which says to them, hold on, continue. That is physical courage. I'm tired, I'm absolutely tired, but I have one more hour class. No problem, I'll finish my class and then go take my cup of coffee. That is physical courage. Okay, so a leader should have the physical courage and mental courage. Mental courage, let me again read some lines from the poem If. Okay, mental courage. If you can bear to hear the truth you have spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools. Okay, you have spoken the truth, but your colleagues, they twist some words and they say that you are lying. Okay, you will feel so bad, correct? Okay, so accept it, endure, that is mental courage, withstand, endurance. Okay, and the next one, or was the things you gave your life to broken? Okay, like you spent 1 month time preparing a PPT and suddenly the computer crashes. Okay, so whom will you blame? Mental courage, you should have that endurance and stoop and build them up with one household. If you are ready to, like start from the scratch, you have the mental courage. So like even Gandhiji says that courage, like strength doesn't come from physical capacity alone. It comes from the indomitable will. That willpower gives you that courage. So a leader should develop this courage, physical courage and mental courage. And here is my, my icon. Okay, so he says, be fearless. Vivekananda says, he says, be fearless. Whether you have a personal problem or financial problem, economical problem, social problem, cyclone or pandemic, be fearless. And he says, don't run away like cowards. Okay, let us face the problem head on. Okay, so if someone is staring at you, stare into his eyes. Okay, head on. Okay, so if dogs are barking at you, don't run away. If you run, no, the dogs will continue chasing. Just turn around and then stare at those dogs. They would stop barking and they would stop following you. So he says, be fearless. Okay, face the problem head on. Okay, so and even like Bible, it says, fear not, for I am with you. Okay, fear not, for I am with you. God is there with us. If God is there with us, why worry about others? We can rule the world. That when God is with us, why worry about others? Right? So let us not have any fear. And leaders, they accept challenges. Like they're never scared of anything. They accept challenges. When Kamarajar wanted to open schools in every place, like his IAS officers, they said, okay, they said, CM, we will go, okay, like our economy will ruin, will go down. He said, don't worry about economy, let it go to hell. I will go begging from people to people, asking for money to build. So they know how to handle challenges. Okay, so great leaders, they know how to handle challenges and they conquer the challenges. Okay, so they are not fearless. Now, when I say they're not fearless, okay, they also have this tact, T-A-C-T, tact. Okay, so they're also tactful in facing the challenges. Now, what is this tact? Okay, so great leaders, they know when to open the mouth. They know when to open their mouth. That is when to speak. They know when to argue and with whom to argue. Just because you are fearless, you cannot go to your secretary's room and then start shouting. No, you should know to whom to argue, when to argue. That is tact. That is tactful. Okay, they realize that, nothing good will come in heated arguments. In some seminars and conferences, particularly on webinars, okay, we come across people, like they argue for just the sake of argument. Okay, so just let us not react to those people. That is tact. If you argue with people, you'll be only wasting your time and energy. And a leader is tactful and he expresses himself calmly and thoughtfully. Okay, so a leader is always tactful. Just because he's fearless, okay, like he knows when to speak, when not to speak, how to speak, with whom to speak, and he expresses his thoughts calmly and thoughtfully. Because when you speak with anger, you will not be able to express your ideas clearly. So a leader should be fearless. Next one is all about delegation. Delegation is like a leader, no man will make a great leader if he does everything himself and if he gets credit. Okay, a leader should know to delegate responsibilities also. So I shouldn't be doing everything on my own. I should, share my responsibility. Again, when it comes to sharing responsibility, Tirukural, okay, verse 517, it says, like a leader should have a good sense of judgment. He should assess one's skill. Okay, he should assess his skill and the skills of the people around him. He should assess the skills of people. He should assess their experience. He should assess their capability and then delegate the task. So that is how, the delegation is supposed to be done. And a good leader always delegates his responsibility because it improves productivity. People, they feel that they're given some responsibilities. it boosts their confidence. It promotes, creativity, innovation, and there is enthusiasm when, a good leader delegates some work. Okay. And now the self-belief. Okay, so leader should have a self-belief, and he should, create this belief in others. Okay, Swami Vivekananda says, believe in yourself, and the world will be at your feet. Okay, if you believe that you can do it, you can do it. Okay, and so you should have belief in yourself, in what you do, that is your mission, and what he is doing. And Swami Vivekananda talks about having unwavering faith. Okay, faith in self and faith in God. First, faith in self and belief. Okay, and if one has self-belief, no matter what difficulties you get, no matter what struggles you get, okay, leaders will always, succeed. So that self-belief can propel any leader to get success. And after self-belief comes this important task of dedication. Okay, so after getting some responsibility, I shouldn't say, I cannot do it. The moment you get it, you should be dedicated to complete the task. Okay, and then Cardinal G. Gibbons, he says, there are no office hours for leaders. Okay, so there are no office hours for leaders. It's not that 8:30 to 1:45. No, a leader, is always leader. 24 hours is a leader. But that doesn't mean that, at home also is doing his office work. No, he should have this sense of time management. Okay, office work, home work. Okay, so he should have a balance. So he should know how to manage time, and he should be dedicated. He should ensure that, he does everything after his heart. Okay, so he says, you should convert every work so that, it is after your taste. It should suit your taste. And, Michael Jordan, he says, earn your leadership every day. Every day you get chance to display your leadership. Okay. Now this motivation. A leader is self-motivated, and at the same time he motivates others. Okay. So again, let me quote Vivekananda. He says, all power is within you, and you can do anything and everything. Believe in that. Okay. So believe in the power that is within you. So this function of leadership, is not to create followers. You should be creating more leaders. So in India, we need more leaders. We don't need followers. We need leaders. That's the problem. Like, we are creating followers. We're not creating leaders. Let us create belief in others. Let us create, create a belief in others so that they will achieve things beyond their expectations. If you, if you spread this motivation, automatically people around you will start working, and then they will give you better results. And then the last one is about intention and resolution. Okay, so a leader, okay, impossible, it's not there in his dictionary. Okay, no matter how big a challenge, he will never say impossible. He will always say yes. Okay, because he has taken the resolution of doing the work. Okay, whether it is this cyclone or corona, if you give him some task, he has the intention and the resolution to complete it. Okay, so he has a great intention, he has a great vision, and he works hard until he achieves success. No matter what hurdles he faces, he always, focuses on the task, and he never ever gives up. Okay, so that's the last one. And now conclusion. Okay, so conclusion, again, I have my favorite quote. All power is within you. You can do everything and anything. Okay, so in Ramayana, sage Valmiki, sage Valmiki asked Narada, Narada, you know Narada, right? Whether there exists any perfect man. So he asked him whether he knows whether there exists any perfect man with heroic qualities. And he lists those qualities. Now he says, well versed in the duties of life, number 1. Number 2, grateful. Number 3, truthful. Number 4, firm in the vows. Number 5, actor of many parts. That is someone who plays many roles. Benevolent, that is helping attitude. Learned, okay, eloquent speech, patient, slow to anger, truly great, free of envy, yet can cause terror when excited. So these are the qualities that we find in Lord Rama. Okay, so sage Valmiki lists all those qualities, and if one can develop these qualities, one can automatically become a leader. So with self-awareness that we started, we began a lecture with the self-awareness, then meditation, character, discipline, a discipline of learning, speaking, equanimity, renunciation, courage, self-belief, dedication, motivation, intention and resolution, we can all aspire to develop the qualities mentioned by Valmiki. So like they're not unachievable. We can definitely achieve provided we take efforts with right attitude. Okay, so again, all power is within you. Okay, so everything is within us, and you can do anything and everything. So I wish you all a great learning and a great future with empowered leadership qualities within you. Thank you very much for your patient listening. I once again thank the organizers of the event for having given me a chance to share some of my thoughts. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Hello. Thank you,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Thank you, sir. It was hello. Thank you,
Yes,
sir.
ma'am.
It's a tremendous and exuberant session. Definitely, the adjuncts given by you, like essence of leadership, discipline of learning by example, self-reflection, how we have constantly update ourselves, and difference between renounce and acceptance, and how to be fearless. And also, you gave many life examples and represented with many beautiful quotes. Start from the sage Valmiki, Rama, Swami Vivekananda, Abdul Kalam, and many more eminent people. This will definitely help us to influence, motivate, communicate, and energize ourselves and also our team. And as a leader, how we can become a catalyst for the success. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Uh, See, sir, of course, whatever I say that we can see in the chat box also, they are saying that no
Ma'am,
one else except a good leader can explain the art of leadership effectively like this. Thanks you, Captain Tane, sir, for the inspiring session. This
oh,
statement
thank
given
you.
by Mr. GM Prem Kumar, sir.
Okay.
And even Devika ma'am also like appreciating its wonderful session. And she's thanking you.
Okay. Any questions, ma'am? Like, is there anyone who has
Devika
who
ma'am
needs
from
any
UK. Yeah.
clarification?
Any questions from the participants?
Excuse me, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're
Yeah,
audible, sir.
Mr. Joginder. Yeah, you're
So
audible,
you,
Mr. Joginder. You can ask.
sir, you have told about the three categories of the leaders like autocratic, democratic, and laissez-faire.
Yes, sir.
So, and the servant leaders can be placed in which category, or it will be a separate one?
Sir, like when I said the servant category, I told you that that concept is there in both Bhagavad Gita and Bible. Okay, like when I said servant category, don't think that like it's being a very servant. I only meant that that you should not have any ego. Like servant in the sense you are there for others. Whether you are an autocratic leader or a democratic leader or a laissez-faire leader, you are for others. Okay, so a leader is not for self. You are not given some designation for serving yourself. You are only for others. That is what I meant by servant leadership. So when you are given a chance to work for others, let us not imagine that God has given us power. God has given us a chance to help someone. So that is the attitude with which we should take our titles. For example, I am the head of the department. I should not be carried away by that title. I should be a servant. I should be one with my faculty, and I should work for the welfare of my people. That is what we mean by servant leadership style. I hope I've answered your question, sir.
Yes, I means willingness to serve, like our Prime Minister claims that he is a servant leader.
Yes, sir. You are right, sir. You are right, sir. Okay. How to be calm and not lose your cool when subordinates or your colleagues are irritating you with irrational behavior? Ma'am, it happens, ma'am. Aisha, ma'am, thank you very much for posing that question. It happens. At times, your subordinates or your colleagues will irritate you. Okay, like even at home, don't our children irritate us? Okay, like we are irritated by our spouse also, our relatives also. At times, even our parents irritate us. So this is part of our life. So as I told you, like a leader should handle both success and failure in the same way. So just because they're irritating, don't lose your cool, don't shout at them. Just ignore. Because like when you ignore, they will be doing it more. But after some time, they will realize that this guy, like we cannot make him react by irritating. So maybe that's the best attitude that we can adopt. But I know it's very difficult when someone is irritating you all the time. We tend to lose cool, but great leaders, they never lose focus. They never lose their cool. Okay, so they are again proactive. They're proactive in making others listen to whatever they say.
And sir, hello.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Another question is there from Ms. Tanvi Rahmat. How can we manage the hyper-aggressive leader in any organization?
Okay, this hyper-aggressive leader, sir, there is no one called hyper-aggressive leader. Okay, so this hyper-aggressive leader, they assume that they are hyper people. Okay, so there is no one called hyper. Like maybe they assume that they are superior. Okay, like have you seen anybody who is more powerful than a president? Okay, I'm talking about Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Okay, so the first citizen of a country, was he ever hyper? Okay, did he ever scold anyone? Have you ever heard of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam scolding anybody or like dictating terms to anybody? Like if our first citizen can be like that, who are these ordinary managers or head of the department or principals or chairmen? Who are they like that? Let's not call them hyperactive leaders. Okay, so real leaders are ones who bring in change in the society. So maybe those people, as you call them hyperactive, I would call them as misguided people in the wrong in their place. They are actually misguided. Okay, they wish to show their ego to people. And generally, like psychologists say that people who don't have a happy personal life. For example, if they don't have a happy personal life, they tend to like take it on with their colleagues. Okay, so if someone is very aggressive in the workplace, so let's have pity for them. If someone is shouting in the workplace, let's have pity for them, because he must have been shouted by his wife, or his children must have shouted at him, or his parents must have shouted at him. That is why like some people behave like in a very bad manner in the workplace. Okay, so like so first thing is the family. Look after your family first, and then think about your office. Like when it comes to office, forget about your ego. Forget about your ego. You are just a servant. Whether you are a principal or a secretary of the college, you are just the servant. Fortunately, I belong to an institution, like where the leaders don't have any ego. Like you can get into principal's room anytime. I can meet my secretary anytime. And like my secretary, like my secretary is a Swamiji. He's a Ramakrishna Mission monk. Okay, like he looks very simple. But like when you analyze his skills, you come to know that he's a scientist. Okay, he has worked with Dr. Abdul Kalam. Okay, like he has worked on nuclear plants. But he's a chairman there, and he's very simple. He looks after the welfare of everyone. Okay, so I don't think we should be comparing great leaders with the so-called hyperactive people who lose their cool in the workplace. So actually, they are not leaders at all. Maybe you can call them mad people. Okay, so that is how I would look at them. Maybe I can only say that look at them with pity and pray to God that they become normal at them. So to me, to my knowledge, there is nothing called hyperactive leaders at all. Okay, we have only leaders, and leaders means one who is worried about the happiness and welfare of his team members. I hope I have answered your question, sir.
Okay. Okay, sir, shall we close here?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Participants
Excuse me. Can I speak for a moment?
Ma'am, one second, ma'am. Let me give an announcement. Participants, like tomorrow is the last day of the Sttp program. So in the afternoon session, like you have to fill the overall feedback and come assessment exam to get your certificate as per AICT rule. And you have to answer 25 MCQs. And as usual, the passing score is 40%. So compulsory, you have to attempt the exam to get the certificate. And other thing is, tomorrow forenoon we are going to have a topic on trendy triumphs, that is achievement motivation by Dr. A. Ganeshan sir from Ramakrishna Mission Vivekananda College, Chennai. And in the afternoon we are going to have another session on the topic whipping quips, that is humor in the workplace, by Professor T. Ravichandran, Professor, Department of H&S, IIT Kanpur. And other thing is, feedback link is posted in the chat box. Kindly fill it. And tomorrow, please, participants, please don't forget to attend the assessment exam to get your overall certificate. Hello.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Hello, can I speak now?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Please
ma'am.
go on.
Yes, I just need to thank the organizers to brought such a learned resource person, and today I was really impressed by his deliberation. It was one of the wonderful deliberation I have ever heard. Like I have attended many of the STTPs and FTPs, but the deliberation of today's resource person, it was just awesome. I've been attending this all FTPs and STTP from Saudi Arabia. I'm a teacher here, but the resource person today was just awesome. I'm impressed a lot. Thank you so much.
Ma'am, thank you for your compliments, ma'am.
Thank
Like,
you,
we
ma'am.
like
Thanks a lot.
encourage me, ma'am.
Ma'am, may I know your name, ma'am?
Yeah, this is Shabina Arif from Saudi Arabia.
Okay. Thank you.
Ma'am, I think that's it.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
So thank
So
you
once again,
ma'am.
I repeat that. Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you for motivating us, and it was such a wonderful and enthusiastic session. Thank you, and thanks a lot. Once again, I repeat to all the participants, like tomorrow afternoon, you have to attend the overall feedback and assessment exam to get your certificate. The assessment exam, in the assessment exam, you have to answer 25 MCQs. And we are going to put all the feedback links in the Telegram group and as well as in the WhatsApp, and it will be active tomorrow up to 10 o'clock. We are going to post all the feedback links from day 1 to up to today evening, so that will be active up to tomorrow 10 o'clock. So those who have missed the feedback link and as well as because of bad weather, they are giving the opportunity to fill the forms. Yes, Mr. Rahul?
Ma'am,
Yeah.
what to do? Fill in the place of stream. In the option stream is there. What to fill in the place of stream? Subject or stream?
Subject or stream is your
English.
subject,
You can,
sir.
you
That
can
means,
fill up
yeah,
English.
you belongs to which department?
Physics.
Zoology, botany, or what?
Physics.
Yeah, you please fill that one. That's it.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Tanin, sir.
Thank
It
you,
was
ma'am. Thank you very much.
I hope we will meet in the next phase, because I think whatever you gave the inputs regarding the leadership skills, I think still we should meet one more session regarding that one.
No problem, ma'am. We'll have it done. No problem. Okay, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay, sir. Thank you. Thanks a lot.